back, when I start my new one, I'm gonna create my layers. Like I said, guys, if your screen doesn't look like it is up here, try to make it look like that on the top. Every time I turn mine on, because I think I have a deep freeze on my computer, all the numbers go everywhere, right? Try to, and all the taskbars go in different places. This is pretty much the standard. I've been to like 2 or 3 different shops that they use eSprit, and it's usually like this. On your personal computer, if you don't have a deep freeze installed, usually when you open it and you already have it like that, it's gonna stay like that, right? So you don't have to worry about it. But these school computers, you don't know if the night shift changed it or whatever, right? This one over here, we really don't need. Why? Because we have it over here, correct? So I could pull this out and just X that box. Boom, it's gone, right? So for features, it's F2, right? For this one, the key and the value, Alt Enter, correct? Which one is the one to bring up my layers?
F2 or F11.
F11, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and make my layers right now so I have more control of it, right? If you don't make your layers, everything you start doing right now is gonna go under default, correct? So we wanna separate this. Some of you guys ran into these problems earlier. Hey, I'm trying to click this, but I can't. Well, it's good. Well, take off your solid. Okay, well, I pick my solid and it doesn't go away. Well, which layer is it under? And everything is under default, right? You want to have control of it. You want to keep it separated. Go ahead and tell them, Corey.
Sounds like an Offspring song. Gotta keep them separated.
Alright, so we're gonna go to new, and we're gonna type geo.
I love this.
For geometry, right? What did somebody say yesterday?
Geography, baby.
That's what I'm gonna confuse everybody else.
It's geography.
Alright, then I'm gonna create solid part, right? So the solid of my actual part. Then I'm gonna make new, and I'm gonna make chains. Then I'm gonna go to new, and I'm gonna go to toolpath.
This chains hang low.
Like I said, guys, you go work at a shop and the programmer's gonna be like, oh man, you don't need chains and you don't need toolpath. All you need is this. Everybody learns a different way, right? Whichever way you're more comfortable with, that's what really matters, all right? I like having that because I like having control of it and just clicking it. And if they ask me to do something, I'm not over there fumbling around trying to figure it out, right? I don't need my solid, so I just take it out real quick, right? Now, realize that if the red box is on toolpath, anything I do right now is gonna go on the toolpath, right? So, I wanna make sure, since I'm gonna be drawing my part right now, I'm just gonna go on the geo.
Geography.
And it really doesn't, stop it. I'm gonna confuse everybody else. It's really not gonna matter because once I make my solid, I'm gonna smash it anyways, right? So it's not a big deal.
He likes to smash.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and make the 3x3 box now, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab
3x3.
line 1.
6x6?
Yeah, a 6 square. So I'm just gonna come out, I'm gonna push 3. And like I said, guys, there's more than multiple ways. I could click this line and go 3 again, or since I know this is a 6 square, I could click this line and hit 6, and it's gonna do it anyways, right? So we're gonna do that one, and we're gonna do the one on the bottom too.
And you're doing this under snap and grid.
Yeah. So really, that's just to get like, think about it like this. For snap and grid, it's getting like the whole line, the overall line, right? Whenever I have sub elements and high on, I'm clicking the individual thing, and it's gonna ask me if that's what I want, right? So now that I have it, all I'm gonna do is come up here to trim or keep. So I know that since this is a regular square box, I could just go to keep and keep this one, keep this one, keep this one, and keep this one, right? What's up? All right, so like I said, I'm gonna hit keep. I'm gonna keep this one, this one, this one, and this one, right?
Keep them separated.
So now, Let me give you a second so you can catch up. Go ahead and create your layers, the layers, bro. Now, hit shift and one of these lines, and I'm gonna highlight all of them, right? I'm gonna go ahead and change my color real quick because
Poppy. Now we can see them.
then I'm just gonna go to machining, enable stock too, right, when I'm there. So pick it, copy. I'm gonna translate it on my Z, so I'm gonna move it on my Z 3 inches, right? Hit enter. Now, it doesn't look like anything happened, correct? Why though? Because I'm looking at my Z down. I can't see it because it popped up, right? So now if I hit control and I rotate it, now I can see that it came off that line, correct? I came up on my Z value towards me. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So what you do, you translated?
Yes, on your Z.
Like
So you're gonna hit move. You're gonna put 3 inches on Z and you're gonna hit enter. If you leave one of those axes just blank, it's gonna throw an alarm at you because it needs at least a 0 value there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So for example, let me show you guys because I know one of you are gonna run into this. If I have it there and I hit shift, then I go to translate, let's say I take this off, right? On my Y, I hit enter, incomplete function or command, right?
Crash.
That is just because I don't have a value here. 0 is a value, right? So I need to put 0 there, then it did that. Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now I'm gonna go to machining, create, solid monitor, and this comes out, right? So now I'm gonna hit the extrude boss / cut solid. All right, and my distance is gonna be how much?
6 inches.
6, right?
Yes.
All right, now look guys, you see how I'm not seeing anything right now? If I hit reverse direction, because I don't know where it's going, that's because I don't have the view shaded on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I know one of you guys are already thinking,
Yep.
I can't see mine.
did
It's not
that.
on there.
That was me yesterday.
Look, coach, it's not working. All right, so we want to make sure that that view shaded is on. Now I can click whatever direction I want. Now, like I said before, guys, this is very important to remember. I don't have to have anything on activate solid right now because I don't have a solid yet, right? The first time you do it, you don't have to put anything there because that's the very first one you're creating, right? Now, anytime I add a boss to this or anything else, I'm gonna wanna put body 1 on there. Now, I might say body 2 or body 3 if you messed up, right? But it's gotta be with the lowest number of the body you have. If you click that active solid down and you got about 18 different bodies on there, something's wrong, all right? Something is wrong. So we're just gonna create the first one and we're gonna make it now. So what does this do? Whenever I add like the boss or a cut, once I put active solid to body 1, it merges with it, right? If I keep it separated and I wanna move this is gonna move, but that boss is gonna stay where it's at. Does that make sense?
Little bondage.
Yeah. You got to keep them welded together.
Little duct tape on there. So we're gonna hit OK. All right. Now I'm gonna click my solid. I'm gonna go to general, change that one to solid part. So if I click on it, it goes away, right? While I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna highlight this one and just delete it. Why? Because if I keep it there and I smash the new one in, there's gonna be lines on top of lines, right? So don't be scared, guys, to eliminate your geometry. You could always get it back, right? So it's not a big deal.
Delete the geography.
If you completely eliminate your solid, that's when you're gonna run into problems.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Geometry though, no big deal.
Delete
All
geography.
right. So if I activate my solid, I'm still on the geo, correct? Highlight it, right click, copy, go to smash, make sure wireframe is on, hit OK. So now, if I take off my solid, see how I clicked off right, but nothing happened? I have to come over here and click anywhere in the blue. Now it comes off. So those are the lines that I made.
Nice box.
So, like we learned yesterday, there's a few ways that I could do these drawings, right? If I want to do the hexagon, right now my X0, Y0 is still in the center, right? So I could make my hexagon there, or let's just make the circle. Well, I would kind of rather start with the pentagon. That way it's facing here and it's facing up, right? So I know on the top view, I would have to rotate it and do it on the top, right? This is going to be very important for your test, guys. You can't just say, oh, well, the features are on there on each side. No, because just imagine that pentagon part merged here, and then on this side, that had to go in that way, right? Do you remember when we were little kids and we played with those little shapes and it had to go in the correct one? So just imagine that while you're doing this. Just because you have the feature there isn't gooder enough, right? It has to be exactly like the print. It can't just look like it, right? So make sure that the pentagon is facing the correct way. Make sure that your slots are vertical instead of being horizontal, correct? So make sure that all of that's online. That's the very first thing I check on your test, right? So, like I said, if we actually make it here on the center, so let's say I make it, so we're gonna do on the ID, the diameter of it is what, 4.4?
Sir, yes, sir.
All right, hit enter. Come over here and click where I wanted at. Boom. Well, I can see I made 6 sides, right? Wrong answer. So, I need 5 sides, right? 5 sides is asking me right here at the bottom left corner. Make sure you read this bottom left corner, guys. 1, because you guys aren't really used to eSprit. 2, because you're gonna get confused now between SolidWorks and eSprit, right? Stuff that you can do in SolidWorks, you can't do in eSprit. So if you're doing eSprit, you can't do in SolidWorks, right? So make sure that you read that little window because it's asking those questions, right? So I'm just gonna come over now and I'm gonna hit it at the center. Boom, there it goes, right? But now if I realize and turn it, it is at that center of the part.
I did
correct?
that yesterday.
So now, quick fix if I'm doing it this way. Highlight it, right?
Bring it 3 inches forward.
Yep. Highlight it, copy, translate it again, correct? 3 inches on Z, okay? Boom. Now it's on that face, all right?
So you're not really concerned about, because that's actually the top of the part, whereas your blueprint shows it as being the front.
No, yeah, as long as they match up wherever they need to be at, right? So if I make this on the top, but the one above it are those 2 other polygons, right? And the one on the right of it is that, we're fine. Because I can maneuver and I can change it any way I want, right? So that's the beauty about these softwares is that I can make this drawing any way I want here, but when it spits out the code, it's gonna spit it out like if that's the top view, right? But it has to cut that surface either way. But like I said, guys, this print is like a fantasy land, right? Because obviously we're not gonna be able to cut the bottom because it's being held by a vise or whatever, right? But if I want to 3D print it, it can make that bottom with the 3D printer. But we know that the software is so advanced, I can take it into Makerspace, whatever slicer I have, Cura, and I could rotate it in there also, correct? So that's why it's not that big of an issue. If we couldn't do that in these other softwares, then yes, we would have to get it right 100% from the get-go.
I practice that anyway.
So now that I'm here, I'm gonna highlight the pentagon, turn on my solid. All right, you have to turn it on. Come up here to extrude boss solid cut.
I like getting turned on.
Boom. So what's the depth of that?
250.
0.25?
Yeah.
Yep. You can see on the right view.
Yeah.
That is 0.25, right? So 0.25, have it sticking out, correct? Now, like I said before, guys, if I just hit OK, I'm gonna have two different bodies right now, right?
Oh yeah, because active solid.
Yep.
Change.
So if I try to rotate one, like let's say I want to rotate this part, the pentagon is gonna stay where it's at, and the square is gonna rotate.
So your square becomes body one.
The square is body one, and the other one will be body two, right? You'll be creating different bodies, right? So over here in active solid,
Let the bodies flow.
I want to hit body one. Now you see how I highlighted,
Yeah.
and it said, okay, I'm gonna be part of this now. I'm gonna merge on it,
Mesh
right?
together.
So, and you have to click this either way whenever you try to do a cut. Because a cut, you're cutting into that
Oh, this is
body,
cut. I
right?
press it out.
So that cut right there, you have to highlight that body one, right?
Basically, from this point forward, whatever you do into that cube, you gotta make sure that active solid is body one.
Correct. So now we hit OK. Boom. We got that one,
Nice.
right?
I bet you will.
So now, depending on what side I want to do, let's say I'm going to do the back, so it's that circle, right? All the way to the left. That's the back view, right? Again, the picture's in the middle, so Junior can see too. Because that's up here. So the one all the way to the left is my back view, correct? So there's a few ways I could do this, guys. I could rotate, I could select Z up, right? Hit the back one and then translate it forward and do all that jazz, right? There's different ways of doing this, correct? Or, like I showed you yesterday, you want to come to view, hit this U, V, W, right? So we see that that's at the center of the part, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if I wanted to do my circle, I could do my circle. Like I said, there's like 3 or 4 different ways of doing this. I could do my circle on that Z, go back -3 on my Z, and just do my features from here, right? That's possible. But the problem is going to be whenever you're over here on this side too, right? Because how are you going to do left and right doing that? Correct? So we highlight that. I'm going to turn on snap sub elements, turn off snap, take off grid, and turn on high. So now when I click work plane from geometry, it's going to tell me right now, select the first plane, right? So in this case, I could click this face and then hit left and it moved it, right? So now I'm working off of this plane, correct? Or I could click it and it says select first plane. I can take off my solid, I can click that line. Then it says select the second one. And there it goes. Does that make sense? So I can either select the face or select 2 lines of a point.
So if everything's centering off of the face, then you'd want that in the center, correct?
Yes and no, because you could do the math to get wherever you want anyways, because the blueprint should have all that information. Yeah. So
It just matters, like what he was saying, talking about the that quadrant 1 versus being in the center right here, only when it comes to creating the tool paths and chains.
Oh, you're talking about toolpath and chains? Or
No,
you're
I'm just talking about whatever you're gonna make. If it's centering off the part, then you'd want that to be in your center, so it'd be easier just to center.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely up to you. Like I said, you could just go back over to it, click the work plane, click the face, and there it is.
Bam.
So,
Seems like the easiest way. Keep it all consistent.
like I said, guys, I could have easily gone also to view, toolbars, gotten the Z up, little toggle Z up, X up, X up or Y up, clicked on that surface, but it would have brought it at 0, then I still have to translate it 3 inches.
So you could have done that with the pentagon too.
Yeah, I was just showing you guys different ways of doing this. Right? There's not only one way to do it in eSprit. And then sometimes it's good to do it another way. That's why it's not good to just, hey, I just know how to do this one way and that's it. Because later on you're going to run into some issues where it's not giving you the correct plane, right? But you clicking on 2 lines, that got you exactly where you wanted at. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you want to know the different ways of doing this.
Don't listen to that guy at the shop.
Oh, you don't need all the layers.
Yeah, I mean, this is a lot better.
We collect the plane, not the 2 lines.
So, now if I wanted to make that circle, there's a few ways of doing this. I could click this, click on this line since I know it's on that plane, right? Come over 3 inches. Oh, see what I did? I had it on solid part and I took my solid off. So it's there, but it's under solid part, right? So I would just hit escape, click this line, make that into geo, right? Bring up my F2 again, highlight geo, and take that off. Too easy.
When I'm trying to do my line, it's doing the sub elements. Should I just put it back to snap grid?
It's up to you. It doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna make another line. So he's talking about taking out the sub elements and then back to grid and taking off I. You can do it that way too. So I kick that one, I come down, 3, boom. So now I could see here though that it made it back here, correct? I'm not on my X0, Y0 plane anymore, correct? I'm teaching on you. Have some respect. At least you sneeze. Alright, so, and then in this case, just to make my life easier, I'm going to make a point, go to intersect, click this one, and this one. So now I know that there's a point right there snap in the middle, right? Now I click my circle, I highlight over it. You guys see how it turned? I get that
Populated
little white box with the X on it, right? That's telling me that I'm truly at the center, correct? And look what it's saying down here. Select reference point, right? On the bottom left. So I click it there, and now I'm going to give it the diameter. And we said that that was 5 inches, right? 5 inches. That's not right. Oh, I put radius. Sorry. Tell you, man, I get confused sometimes with the Esprit on SolidWorks as this. So right here, it's asking me for the radius, which is 2.5, correct?
Si, senor.
There we go. You guys like it better like this, or should I have just left y'all by yourselves?
No, this is great.
Dude, it's all works.
Learning so much.
Alright, so now I'm going to extrude that, guys, just the same as the other one, right? I'm going to go ahead and, I was on circle, so I just hit escape. Highlight this. Turn on my solid again. So we're on the back side, right? Go to extrude. So that one is
Come out
0.25, right?
Wait, active solid.
Yep. So right there, I see it in, see it out. Active solid, body 1, because I want it to be part of that body, correct?
Yeah.
Body 1, check.
Then you let them hit the flow.
Okay.
That's not even giving me an active side. It doesn't give me body 1. Active side. Oh wait, never mind. I can just click on it and give it to me. Come on.
Yeah. Give it to me.
There's always one first. Always.
See, I could draw this in here. I have no problem. As soon as I get home, follow the exact instructions. Error, error, error.
Just pay attention to detail, man. You gotta slow it down. That's why I'm not teaching it that fast right now. I'm going step by step in order, right?
I thought you were going to knock this whole thing out in about 4 minutes.
I mean, if I do it by myself,
Chains too. It's all pass off.
I could probably have all of this done in about 20, 25 minutes, the whole thing.
I'll have one face done in 25 minutes.
On one side.
So that one's,
Yeah.
that one's 250 as well, right?
Yes. But that's why I said, guys, if you repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, you don't have to look at your notes and be like, oh, how do I get this? How do I get that? Because it's second nature, right? I've seen other guys teach this class, or like when I first started, I had to have my notes because I forgot how to do some of this because I didn't do it that often. So whenever I had free time, I studied on this. So now, I mean, you don't see me come into class and try to prepare for it before you guys get here. Or when they ask me to be a substitute, I just show up and I'm ready to do it now because I've done it so many times, all right? All right, so now I'm gonna make those 4 circles, right? So, a few ways I could do this, right? I like to make my life easy on myself. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna highlight this line.
Oh, solid.
Highlighting that line. And I'm gonna translate it on my Z, another 0.25, enter, and I bring it up, right? Too easy. I just brought it up on that same Z level as this boss was, correct? That's all I did.
How'd you do that?
Just highlight both of those lines and
Right click,
translate them
copy,
again.
translate, and then just 0.25. See, yesterday I had asked you a question about this part. If you go back to the main plane, because I know it's supposed to go in 0.25, and then that bigger circle's bossed out 0.25. But then when I drew this, and I couldn't see the circles behind it, so it ended up from the plane of the square to, well, sorry, the plane of the
I
circle.
think so.
I see what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the square. I went
Wait,
further
that wasn't
into
it.
it, so I actually went 0.5.
You just have to do it.
That's how deep it
0.25,
was.
not 3.
Because that's why I thought you were saying go 0.5 down with the little
Because you
dots
already
and
brought it
0.5
to
up
three.
with the big circle. So total was
I'm wrong.
half inch.
Yeah,
That's what
so-
I did because I know.
There's a few ways to do this. Like I could have let those lines there, created dots, made the circles, and extruded the cut.
Right.
So if I extrude the cut this way, it's gonna be the same thing. But I like doing it this way because it
Right.
shows
No,
it more step by step.
The 4 circles that you're about to make, you're only going to go in what 0.25.
Yeah.
Did you figure it out?
But see the way I drew mine, they went in
Oh,
0.5.
negative.
Oh, okay. So
Because-
deeper.
Because that's what I was saying. From the square plane, the boss goes up 0.25, and then
Yeah.
the circles
That-
went down
that doesn't
0.25. But
work.
if you
Doesn't
add
bring it
those
to the
together,
base
that's
one.
half
Did
inch.
you
Yeah,
highlight
that's
them?
what I did.
Yeah, they're both highlighted. Then
I mean, it's still
translate, and
you
then
got
on
the same
Z,
look.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit deeper.
Yeah, negative 0.25.
No,
Right.
positive.
No.
0.25.
Just
Oh,
put
positive.
0.25. Yeah, because you're looking on Z, you're coming up. Well,
And
yeah,
then
they have you as
it still just brings it to that face of the square, or the cube.
We put a negative in there.
Or if I go,
Don't be
I'll do
positive.
0.50.
Well, if you,
Well, if I did, well now that no,
your boss is only
0.50 is not
2.5,
enough.
right? 0.25?
It's going from your last. You gotta think about it like incrementally. So that's your Z, right? So we're gonna go. Remember, X plays with you. The W plays with your Z, right? So the W is coming out this way, correct? So if my arrow's facing this way and I go positive, it's gonna come out. If that W is facing towards the part, so that's negative, it's gonna go in.
So even if you rotated it 180, the positive's still towards the front, and not.
If you rotate it, what axis 180? That all depends.
'Cause that's what I'm saying. That's why I think Bill said something.
I
about
think
it.
Bill ended up, whatever he clicked, his W was going.
Yeah, my.
Right,
my-
but then you
Yeah.
rotate it though. So if you rotate it from that front
My
view
U
to now
W
the back
disappeared
view, but
down
now the
the
back
one.
view looks like the front view. So if you hit positive, I figure positive will go away from you.
It's
'cause-
going incremental
'cause
from
you
where you
flipped
had
it.
it at. So yours, yeah, because see, look, his Z is pointing in, right? So his is going to be negative to come out this
But
way.
then put that
Yeah.
UVW.
Yeah, my UVW,
Would be
after I
on
made
this
this,
way.
I don't
He
know what happened.
probably lost it. Go to view. Yeah, it's on there.
I don't know.
See, this is what happens when you don't pay attention and you're just doing whatever you want all willy nilly. Listen, it's probably on that same plane. So. Why, Bill? Why?
Okay. What?
There it is.
Oh, nah, there it is.
Well, see now that
Well, now it'll be positive, right?
But see, when I made it, it was.
I don't want to hear it, Bill. I don't want to hear it. There's like a part of telling you, well, what had happened was.
Maybe if I did this a few more years.
I only need 12 years experience, and I might be okay with it.
Alright, so now I'm going to hit the line. Come up. I can take up my solid if I want, because I'm just working off of these lines, right? Click this one. Enter my distance. So that is 1.25.
Yes.
Alright? Do that to all of them, just 1.25. All I'm doing is really making a box. 1.25.
So much work.
Click this one, 1.25. This is why that distance in SolidWorks is so great, right?
Mm-hmm. That's why I use that mirror entity, or the linear circle.
So now, once I have this, I'm going to create a point, intersect. So from here to here, it made that point, right?
It sure did.
This one or this one,
Bam.
I made that point.
Bam.
It's a little bit confusing, so I just moved it here to here.
Bam.
Made that one.
Bam.
Here to here.
Bam.
Made that one.
You did.
So you just made points at those 4 spots. Okay.
It sure did.
And I could just go ahead and delete these if I want, because they're not essential anymore. They lost their job during COVID.
We have a funny feller.
Alright, so now I can just make my circles. Alright, that is how much?
1 inch.
So
Diameter.
0.5. Yep. 0.5, 0.5, and obviously, guys, we could have used mirror or center rotation to do this, whatever. Like I said, there's more than one multiple way of doing this, right?
You just like repetition.
Just like showing you guys the simplest way, so even if y'all don't learn the more advanced ways, y'all could go back to simplify it, right?
eSprit for dummies.
But I had one of my students do a review, and that's what he put on there. I like him because he Barney's everything. He makes it easiest for us to understand. Like, did you really put Barney on there, bro? He goes, yes.
He talked to me like a private. Damn it, Gump! Why'd you do that so fast? Because you told me to do something.
It's the best sense I've ever heard in my whole minute.
Every time I see you drink that, Bill, it looks like a Modelo. The can.
That's what I thought he was at first.
I was like, damn, dude.
No, he's got that
That's why it's
mango.
always open when you come in.
That's why I call Fox
Port
Sport.
of Entrance.
That mango. No wonder he gets down here so early in the morning. He starts drinking early to deal with this class.
You would probably suck.
Yeah, actually, one of the
You got that mango Modelo.
Suck. I'd be like, man, go or do what you gotta do. All right, now I can highlight all of them because they're all going to the same depth, right? So hit Control, highlight them all. Turn on my solid again, right?
Yep, because you're gonna have to need that part.
Yeah. Go over here to extrude boss, extrude cut.
Cutting though this time.
Right. So I have to make sure that I reverse it.
We don't want Legos. There we go.
Right. Active solid body. Notice how cut doesn't come out yet, right?
Not too easy.
It doesn't come out until I tell it where I'm going to cut it on. So I'm going to cut on my body 1. Then select cut. Hit OK. Boom.
very nice.
Unless you're me, then you cut it 1/2 inch deep.
Too easy.
It's alright, I'll just fill it with weld metal.
Yeah. They lied about replacing metal. I didn't even replace it.
Yeah, you can.
Might not look the best.
Hit it with a MIG gun real quick, and you just got to remachine it, that's all. May not be the same still, but... Because they don't have titanium filler metal, do they?
Shit. I wouldn't today.
I know how to weld, but doesn't mean I know all the freaking material makeup of the alloys of the freaking filler metals. They're all different. But they all weld the carbon steel.
So now, after this,
Save.
if I wanted to make this side,
Oh yeah.
Right.
Save your progress.
if I wanted to make that side, I would turn on sub-elements in high. Right? Create a new plane. Oh, I thought you were going to get it.
Oh,
I guess I don't know. Click over here. Is that the one I want? Yes.
so that would be.
Now we'll
your
start working
left side, the two twin towers.
on this side.
You got the twin towers. You got to build.
Do that work plan again, right?
Yeah.
See.
So now I could work on it on this side. Correct? And make sure my lines, my slots are going to be vertical. Correct? Did this help you guys understand it a little bit better?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
eSprit.
I mean, just looking at the drawing, it
I'd be
looks.
done with it in SolidWorks by now, but
It looks so easy, but then it's like, damn, the steps to actually make that happen is more complicated than we think it's going to be. Once you get to doing
That's
it's
it.
only
why
like 3 clicks.
That's why I told you
Yeah.
guys SolidWorks is king.
Yeah.
When it comes to CAD, you can't be SolidWorks.
And some idiot last night tried to tell me Fusion 360 is better. Like, SolidWorks is.
Didn't you know Fusion 360? Like, didn't you mess with it before?
Me? No, AutoCAD.
Oh, AutoCAD. Well, it's the same company, ain't it? AutoCAD and Fusion 360?
Yeah, I think
Because
so.
Fusion, I think the whole thing is Fusion 360, but AutoCAD's a branch.
Yeah, all we did though in AutoCAD, everything was 2D, and all we did really was just we did 2D like print drawings. We didn't really do depth, but what we ended up doing as our final project was just writing a floor plan for a house. Now we got to create the floor plan ourselves, so we designed our own house floor plan. But then we had to do an electrical plan too, where all the wires and plugs and were going to be, and then we also had to do a slab plan, so you know where all the rebar underneath the concrete was going to be. Well, that was pretty cool. But then he goes, after that, you know, you have to go into like AutoCAD Part 2 or Advanced or whatever that class was to start doing the 3D model stuff. I was like, oh, okay, well, SolidWorks is my AutoCAD Part 2. I like it though, because you can make blueprints out. Well, I'm sure you can in AutoCAD too, but
You can.
I saw a lot of postings that had Mastercam on them, but isn't that like the same, similar? They're all
Master
similar.
Cam is like a spray.
It's
It's more of a cam. Now there is. Alright guys, so go ahead and start working on this. If you want to start all over, like from new, I suggest you do that. That way you get more comfortable with this, right? It's from the beginning. Right, Bill? Bill's gonna be like, no, I'm finishing this first. Try to start from the beginning though, guys. So if you have any questions, I'm here, right? Hey, how do we do this? How do we do that? I don't mind showing you that right now. Come tomorrow or the next day, if you're like, well, it's because I forgot how to do it. Well, you should have redone it when I told you, right? So if I was you, go to File, New, and do it from the beginning.
all right.